Morning. How's everybody doing today? It's Mr. Cravat. It's 4:17, 4:18 in the morning. Baby woke up with a nightmare. So I read him a scary book. The old woman who swallowed a fly or something. I think that was the title of it. It's a terrifying book. The illustrations are awful. And I said last night, while putting him to sleep, I bet he has nightmares over this, right? And I'm just gonna fix my hair while I'm talking. Y'all ignore that. And sure enough, he wakes up 3 times in the middle of the night. 3. So here we are about. We got 4:22 a.m. Morning, everybody. I'm not going back to sleep. I'm gonna get some work done. So by the time you wake up, or for some of you, by the time you go to bed, I'll have links posted for Friday's work. So, of course, I'm down here now, and it says, this site can't be reached. I'm looking for your assignment now, so bear with me. We'll see if it works here in a second. Well, nobody loves me. Are you kidding me? Yes, I want to connect to the internet. Wise. Try to get stuff done. I'm going to have my son home with me today. My sister's graduating college on Zoom. So I'm going to go ahead and get all this done now before things get crazy here around 10 o'clock this morning. I think it's a good call. In the background, you might hear a record playing. I do have a record player. I know I'm old. Mr. Cravat's old and white. But I love listening to records. I can't help it. I don't know if it's this way now, but with Spotify, do you get? I want to know. Do you all still listen to a whole album, right? Or is it just singles from a certain album? So when your parents or grandparents were growing up, it was just a whole album, and there were a lot of songs on those albums that may not have made it to the radio, but I'm sounding old, forgive me. But that doesn't mean they weren't great. And this album I'm listening to right now is from 1975. Yep, a whole decade before I was born, close to it. Called Toys in the Attic by Aerosmith. Look it up. It's a great one. All right. Yep, and that is the sun in bed outside my window. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about this. Japanese surrender at the end of World War II. The good news is this one is only 3 questions. I'm giving you all a break here on Friday. Some important themes to think about. One thing I would challenge you to think about is when it comes to a surrender or a truce, right? Think about a time where maybe you were fighting with your parents, your siblings, a boyfriend, girlfriend, or maybe one of your friends, right? Think about when the fighting stopped. When one of you all you were tired of it, and you said, you just basically, you may not have said this, but your thinking was, can we just stop fighting? How did y'all's relationship, how did you benefit from that relationship moving forward, right? Because that's what happens with the Americans and the Japanese. The Japanese do finally surrender after their second atomic bomb drop, right? And the Americans, All right, here I am. The Americans want to benefit from a positive relationship with the Japanese. And believe it or not, ever since 1945, the Treaty of Paris that ended World War II, the Americans and the Japanese have benefited greatly from each other's relationship. The United States serves as Japan's military pretty much. If Japan gets invaded, they're an ally, we go to help. So that's what kind of makes the situation with North Korea dangerous, is that if North Korea decides to declare war on Japan, we got to go. We have to go help. So That's a little dangerous for us. But we've benefited from the Japanese relationship with the Japanese. You see a lot of Japanese cars, Hyundai, Nissan, Toyota, all those, Mitsubishi, all those vehicles. Guys, that doesn't happen without the Japanese surrender in the 1945 Treaty of Paris. All right? So, and oh, by the way, after we nuked Japan twice, we went in and helped rebuild the country. So I need you to think about, hopefully you're not whooping up on anybody in a fight, and hopefully you're not in that situation where it's kind of like you beat somebody up and then you take them to the doctor. You know, don't do that. But that's how the Americans, we wanted to help rebuild the world as quickly as possible after World War II. We learned our lessons from World War I. And that's maybe why we haven't had a World War III yet. So, all right. So let's go ahead and take a look at this worksheet. Japanese surrender and the end of World War II. At the top of the picture, or at the top of the page, you see a picture of one that you've seen probably several times in history books or in commercials. And that is the Navy sailor kissing the nurse in New York City after the war was over. These two, to my knowledge, were not a couple. They were just, everybody was out. It was time to celebrate. The announcement was made and people were taken to the streets to celebrate the end of the war. And this sailor grabbed this woman and started kissing her. And from the looks of things, I don't think she resisted. Fun fact about that nurse: she only died here in the last 5 or 6 years. You know, so she lived a long time, and also she was from right across the river in New Albany, Indiana. That's where she lived. So, small world, right? So what day marked the end of World War II? That's VJ Day, B, August of 1945. I guess I should have put the dates on there. Dates are important a little bit on this. Not that big a priority. It'd be nice to know. August of 1945, Victory in Japan Day, VJ Day. All right, if you're an American soldier, how would you have celebrated when you found out World War II had ended? Please keep your answers at a high school PG-13 or PG level. All right, so that's an open-ended question for you. All right. And number 3, name one term of the Japanese surrender from the Treaty of Paris. Pay close attention to the lecture video. We become their military. That's the best. I think that's the most important one. We become their military. We're their friends now. We're going to protect them from, in 1945, from the rise of communism in Japan. Or, I'm sorry, not in Japan. China. Korea. North and South Korea, right? Or North Korea, I should say. So, and that still persists to this day. You know, the beef we've got going on with China right now over the coronavirus, the trade wars, the always present beef with North Korea. We have the friendship, the alliance, whatever you want to call it, with Japan is a dangerous, can be dangerous for us. So as you guys grow up, as you guys, follow the news as you get older, that is something to pay attention to. So, all right, that's the last question. Short assignment. Next week we get into Cold War. Those assignments will be a little bit longer. I don't think we'll have any 3-question assignments, but nonetheless, I think you're going to enjoy the material. All right, guys. Be good. Be safe this weekend. Tell your moms you love them. It's Mother's Day coming up. All right. So I'll see you guys on Monday. Take care.